Start whenever.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Welcome to another episode of 10 Minutes with Tangelo. This series is dedicated to bringing simplicity and clarity to complex issues. Before we get into it, we invite you to hit that subscribe button at the bottom and we'll get started. So today, we're not necessarily talking about a specific issue or common injury, but instead giving some tips to reduce the likelihood of causing an injury when getting back to different forms of exercise. The stay-at-home order has caused its own challenges for everyone, but it's also brought to light some really great things, such as betting money on marble racing, friendly social challenges, and creative at-home HIIT-style workouts. HIIT-style workouts, or high-intensity interval training, can be a great addition to anyone's routine to build up your cardio capacity, burn a ton of calories in a short amount of time, and also work on some movement skills. Yet, for those of you who are planning on getting back to some strength training with heavier loads, or getting out to play sports and compete at higher speeds in hopefully the near future, these tips are for you to keep your tendons as healthy and as happy as possible. Okay, let's talk a little bit about tendons. Tendon structure doesn't change a whole lot past the age of 17, and tendons want to maintain themselves at all costs, which means they can get a little bit angry if we neglect them and then try to return to our prior level of activity. Not all tendons are created equal, but for the sake of simplicity, we'll keep these exercises and this information geared toward your Achilles tendon, your patellar tendon, and your high or your proximal hamstring tendon. To keep these tendons happy and healthy, you've got to give them an environment in which they're able to do their job. These jobs include, but are not limited to, handling relatively high loads or heavy loads over long periods of time, or what we might call time under tension, absorbing and slowing down forces, and also the ability to remain stiff to slow down forces, but also act as a spring to keep your movements quick and powerful. Tendons do not like rapid changes in their environment. And when I say changes in their environment, some examples of this may include drastically changing the surfaces that you run or walk on. I know that run in the morning on the sand on the beach, being barefoot, sounded like a fun idea at the time, but it may have irritated some things. Others may include getting back to just squatting or deadlifting the same amount of weight that you were comfortable with 2 or 3 months ago, or taking out to sprint while playing soccer after not doing so while stuck in your home for the last 2 or 3 months. So these next 3 exercises are just ideas to start with to help your Achilles, patellar, and high hamstring tendons stay healthy and happy, and comfortable sustaining high loads to make your return to these activities a little bit friendlier. These exercises may look familiar to a lot of you, and all we're doing is changing the tempo, or the time under tension, of the exercise. So in doing so, we're starting to challenge the tendon structure a little more to cause some positive breakdown so they can adapt to being able to handle heavier or more intense loads on the muscle. Now, these exercises all have an isometric component to them, which means we're holding a muscle contraction for a long period of time without that muscle or that tendon lengthening or shortening itself. Isometric exercises like this have been shown to have the ability to be protective against developing overuse tendon injuries, which mostly happen from doing too much too soon. And when I say protective, we don't mean this as an absolute. We still suggest slowly ramping up your exercise intensity and not jumping into anything or doing too much too soon. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take you through 3 exercises to start with, and then if you have any questions or comments at the end, we'd love to hear those and get back to you. Okay, the first exercise we're gonna go through is a wall sit. So what we're trying to do here is get some positive load onto the quad and to the patellar tendon. I know this is a throwback to elementary PE class, and some of you probably thought you'd never have to do these again. But it's a really good option for at home when you don't have heavier loads to train with. So I want you to find a wall, walk up to it so you can support your trunk. There's no right or wrong way to set your feet up. So whatever you're comfortable with as far as width goes for your feet, whatever your normal squat to you is. So I'm gonna start about shoulder width apart. and slowly lower, trying to stay tall through my trunk so that way it places more load to the quad and the patellar tendon. Now, isometrics can be a little boring, so feel free to have a snack, watch some television while you're doing this. Usually, isometrics are pretty tough to start with, so what we suggest is starting to do these twice a week, maybe 5 reps, 2 to 3 sets, but make sure you're trying to hold this position for 20 to 30 seconds. Okay, the second exercise we're gonna go through is a hamstring bridge variation. I'm gonna go through a single leg variation, but if this is a little tough to hold for 20 to 30 seconds, I would say start with both legs and then slowly progress yourself back to that single leg variation. So using some furniture or a bench or a chair at home, I want you to lay down on your back, prop your heels up. So the more bent your knees are, the less load that's gonna go into your hamstring. So we're gonna start about 90 degrees and really dig that right heel into the couch and drive your hip toward the ceiling. So just like the last one, we're gonna go with an isometric hold here to really challenge that high hamstring tendon. So like we said in the first, start with this twice a week, trying to hold for 20 to 30 seconds. Start with 2 to 3 sets of about 5 reps. When you get to 20 to 30 seconds, slowly lower your hips back down to really get that tendon to work appropriately. Okay, the third exercise we're gonna go through is a split squat, but keeping your heels up. So what we're doing with this is we're adding some load to your soleus, or the deep middle part of that calf, which is really important for running and supporting your Achilles tendon. We're also adding some load to your Achilles tendon and your arch. So balance isn't an issue. I think finding a wall for some support is a great idea to start with. Same kind of timetable for the other 2 exercises. So start with these a couple times a week. You can add them into your normal exercise routine to give something that you may not be getting in HIIT style workouts like we talked about earlier. So set up whatever distance your feet feel comfortable with, but really prop that heel up. And using the wall here, lower yourself to a pain-free but challenging position and really keep that heel up. So same idea. Start with these a couple times a week, 2 to 3 sets of 5 reps, but starting with attempting to get to 20 to 30 second holds here. Really stiff through that ankle, just to help support getting back to running, sprinting, jumping, things like that. Hopefully that's 20 seconds. All right. Okay, that was the third exercise that we've gone through. Hopefully these 3 exercises have helped give you something a little bit extra that you're missing through your workout routine. As always, we thank you for your time, and if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the section, and we'd love to get back to any of your feedback. Thanks a lot, and until next time, we'll see you.